Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel. Hey, what is going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile Sky with the Pop XP, and joining me for another exciting adventure of Five and Dime is the most amazing Frank you'll ever meet, Mr. Frank Amazing.
Hey,
Frank!
What's up?
Son of a gun. What are you doing?
Nothing. Getting excited.
Playing freeze frame there? Trying to pretend you're frozen?
Psyching you out.
You did. I was like, son of a bitch, is this guy
He's
frozen?
like, right away.
I was like, no,
I'm
not doing this again. I'm not doing this again.
I can't do it solo.
So we got it here, man. We've got the Five and Dime time. You ready for this? We've got five amazing creators on tonight with some awesome books, some unique books. We've got new guests on, old guests that we've had on with their new books. So without further ado, let's get into it. I met this gentleman on a Mandy Summers show. Great creator, great guy. Everyone, please welcome Mr. Hex Allen to the show. Hex, how you doing, man?
Hey, thanks, Nile. Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Ax?
We are doing well, man. And you're in the crowdfunding arena, right? This is the first campaign for you.
Yeah, that's right. I'm dipping my toe in for the first time, and so far it's so far so good. You know, it's chugging along, and having a fun time and meeting a lot of new people.
So how warm is the water? How warm is it feeling? How's that toe feeling?
Well, it's warm, but there are different they're sudden whirlpools, you know.
Nice.
You know,
Well,
it's
cool.
going along smoothly, and then
So how are you liking the world of crowdfunding? Because I mean, it's a lot of work, right? You're absolutely everything. You know, you're the creator. You know, you're the head of marketing. You know, soon you're going to be the head of distribution. All this stuff. I mean, have you noticed a huge amount of time that it takes to be out there promoting this book?
Oh yes. So far, it seems like the promotion part is the most taxing on me mentally.
Understood.
You know, because as you know, most of us who are doing this, at least who are doing this on our own, are introverts. You know, we're creators, and you know, it takes a little kick in the pants to get out there and, you know, put yourself out there in the public eye.
Yeah.
But you know, this is how you sell these things, right?
Exactly. Are you finding it's easier to do though? You're getting more comfortable, like as each show goes on, recording live streams that you're doing to promote this. Is it getting easier?
I'm sweating a lot less. Yeah.
Yep. I remember that. I know when I first started doing this channel, and we just hit our 2-year anniversary on the 22nd, 2 days ago. Man, I used to tell you, I used to freak out. I'd be like, my heart would be racing. I'd be like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And I'd play that button. I'd just be like, hey, what's up, everyone? Because it's just like you had to throw that energy out there, right? And then once you got that energy out, you just felt so comfortable. And it will come. It will come, Mr. Allen. It will come. And one thing that's coming right now and is amazing and it's awesome is your campaign. I mean, this is freaking cool, dude. And you've got Nephilim Squadron Chapter 1 with extras. Yeah. With the extras, and you'll let us know what those are shortly. So you are funded. Your book is funded. You're in demand. You are now, you know, moving into that other arena of Indiegogo. And let me ask you, I know now that you're in demand, do you plan on keeping in there for a while, or are you going to cut it off once you hit that fulfilling point?
Well, there are two things that I want to do. Is to get all the stretch goal items unlocked, and if I don't, then I'm just going to cut it off around the middle of April, and then just have not cut off the campaign, but just cut off the extras part, and then have just the comic keep going in demand until around the end of May. Nice. And the end of May that's around the time when I project I'll be ready to go to print.
Okay, excellent.
I keep
Now,
up my pace.
yeah. So for those that don't know, I mean, you're doing everything on this book, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of
writing,
work.
drawing, coloring, lettering. So far, I might need help with lettering. We'll see
Mhm.
when I get to that stage.
Awesome. Well, so
And
you've got your cover here. We've got Nephilim Squadron. You got an awesome color. I love cover. I love the colors. I
oh,
love the
thanks.
design of the ship right here. But let's get into before we get into some of the mechanics of your campaign. Tell us about the story. Tell us about your characters.
Oh yeah.
What are we getting with this book?
Well, it's Nephilim Squadron is what I like to call a science fantasy, a hard science fantasy war epic, and it focuses on the personal journey of a cloned pilot, Taru Kaufman, uh, and his ultimate desire for a soul. Uh, but through the course of his journey, he discovers that his destiny is much larger than just having a soul. And a little background on the environment. It all takes place on one planet. It's not a star hopping sort of adventure. It's on one planet, a colonized planet um, by humans who have established a civilization over a few generations. So they've are kind of far removed from the Earth home system in their culture. So yeah, they're kind of bizarre. And but throughout the generations they've been living there, they've also been fighting a war with the native beings on the planet. And the thing is, there was never supposed to be any intelligent sentient life on this planet in order for humans to colonize it in the first place. Uh, and with that going on, we have the entering the scene a third party, an organization called Sol Interstellar Forces, or SIF, and they're a Star Trek Federation like organization, and they're sent in there to prosecute the war for this colony or civilization, because they're almost being wiped out by the aliens. And they're also there to find out how and why the humans on this planet have awakened in this strange and rapidly evolving species and started a war with it. And on a macro level, there's a few layers here. On a macro level, Nephilim Squadron is an ancient mythological tale retold 700 years in the future, in the
Oh wow,
28th
that's cool.
century.
I like that. Now, what inspired you to create this story? I mean, what happened when you're just sitting there like, that's what I'm going to do?
Well, the first part of it, I guess the base story, it was inspired by my love of Macross and other anime when I was from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of inspiration from 80s manga like Area 88 and Macross and Space Battleship Yamato and some more recent shows like Neon Genesis Evangelion, if anyone's familiar with that.
Yep.
Yeah, so at first, when I was a kid, I was just I loved the show Robotech so much. I just kind of ripped off the characters and then said, I'm going to do my own story with similar characters, and it evolved into like a more original story. And around the time, the thing is, this is I've been world building this thing for like 30 years. So
Oh wow. Okay. All right, I got you.
Another influence was the first Iraq War, and so so the villain was originally based on Saddam Hussein, and it's evolved a lot over the years. And then around 15 years ago, that's when I decided to inject the whole mystical, ancient, mythological, esoteric theme that comes on in later volumes.
Oh, very cool. I really like, and I want to just go back up because as you're talking, I was just kind of scrolling through, so everyone can kind of see what's in the campaign, some of the imagery and stuff. And I have to say, I really do like the character design of your native,
Oh,
you know,
thank
the
you.
native, I guess we'll call them aliens, right? Or native species
Yeah.
to this planet.
Mm.
What inspired this look, this design? It,
Mushrooms.
yeah.
Nice.
Well, no, I mean, again, like it's funny you say that because like when I'm working designing characters and stuff like that, I look at, you know, insects, mushrooms, fungi,
Mm.
bacteria, you know, different things because they're just so, or different sea creatures and stuff where you just want to look at certain elements. And, you know, that's
Mm.
kind of like, you know, you say mushrooms, you know, maybe jokingly serious. I'm not sure, but,
No.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah. Seriously. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
I mean, not
it,
from taking them, from just.
That's what I thought.
yeah,
I'm like, all right, yeah, why not?
Yeah, that was decades ago, though.
Yeah. No, but this is cool, man. This is cool. So this is your first campaign. You're funded. You're right on track where, you know, a freshman campaign should be. You've got some great stretch goals. It looks like your featured tier, which is a $40 tier, gives you quite a bit. Looks like you get a kind of a taste of everything in here for $40, which is great. Where are you at with the book, though? Do you like how much more of the book do you have to do to be complete?
A little more than halfway inked, halfway to more left to ink.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm chugging along, and it's looking great. I think people are going to be very pleased.
Oh,
by
very
the end
good.
result.
Very good. And all your pledge levels and stuff, when you were developing your campaign as your first campaign, did you just look at what everyone else was doing, or did you reach out to other crowdfunders to be like, hey man, or girl, you know, whoever you're dealing with, you know, what kind of things should I do with my campaign?
Well, yeah, I was listening mostly to what everyone was saying, and the thing is, I wanted to do it a little differently, so I made it a cross IP campaign, which is kind of a big mistake if you're a first timer and a nobody, you know. Because you see, when I first started, when I launched this campaign, it was mostly primarily focused on the artwork from the mobile game, which is those prints and trading cards and bookmarks you see, and I guess in that way, I was taking advice from people who were saying, you need to do something different to stand out, you know?
Yeah.
And then, but I had the comic as just an ash can size and 14 pages, but it wasn't getting much traction. So, and I was thinking, well, you know, I am in a comic crowdfunding community. Maybe I should flip the script and you know, do the old corporate pivot.
Yeah, no,
And
that's a good
focus on the
idea.
comic book first. So I added more pages, made it a full size floppy, but it's still black and white, and it's a just a teaser into the full saga, and that it will be launching in July, which is chapters 1 through 3 in full color. That'll be Nephilim Squadron Volume 1.
Wow.
And
Excellent.
so I saw this campaign is just an intro into the world of Nephilim Squadron, and also to give people a taste of, you know, the other artwork that I got excited about, and maybe should have not thrown in there to confuse people at first.
Yeah, no,
But,
well,
you
hey,
know, it turned out okay.
yeah, no, it looks great. You know, your first campaign, you're doing this all yourself. I mean, you're giving everyone kind of a taste of your world, the universe you created, and you're funded. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yep.
And you know, you got 81 backers, which is awesome for a first campaign. And I gotta say, man, congratulations to you on this. I look forward to seeing your next campaign and where this universe is going. Yeah, man. I mean, good luck with everything. We'll continue sharing your campaign periodically. We'll put it on our social media, you know, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You know, we'll periodically share this for you as well. And I recommend everyone else out there too. You know, if this is something you like, you know, pick a level, back it. get this book home in your hands. Again, if it, the money's not there, this isn't a great month to be supporting crowdfunding campaigns and stuff. Remember that you can always share these campaigns. The best thing you can do is share them. Share them on your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever you're using. Just give a quick share and help support this indie community, because right now everyone knows the state of the industry. It's an up and down roller coaster right now, and we truly are in a new golden age of independent comic book publishing, creating, and this is really the time to really start supporting this stuff. So Hex Allen, welcome to the indie community. Yes, welcome to crowdfunding. Good luck to you on this. Good luck, you're already there, but continued success with leaving this open and in demand. Get those stretch goals going, everyone.
And don't forget, there's add-ons at checkout.
Oh, perfect. See, look at that. See, salesman. There's a salesman right here. There's add-ons at checkout, so make sure to grab some extra goodies. And Hex, thank you so much for coming on the show. Good luck with the campaign. And when you've got the next campaign going, hit us up, and we'll get you on for that.
Oh, most certainly.
All right, man. Thank you so much. All right. Good luck with everything. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye, X.
That's cool, man. I love anything that's like sci-fi space. You know what I mean? I love that stuff. Cannot get enough of it. So we've got another great guest on tonight. This is such a freaking cool book. I think we should bring him on. Is he backstage? Let's bring Mr. Marco Lopez on. Marco, how you doing, man?
How's it going, guys?
We are doing well. Happy to have you on.
Thanks,
we just had a little Indiegogo session. Now we're on a little bit of a Kickstarter kick right now. But hey, Marco, before we get into your campaign, man, give us a little bit of your origin story for anyone out there that's not too familiar with your work, what you've been doing. How did you get into comics and what you're doing today?
Comics as a fan or comics as a creator?
As a creator.
As a creator, 2015, I started trying to get into comics back out of high school, and. Always that, you're that 19-year-old kid and you're asking annoying questions to big name creators. I even got yelled at by one back then. And at one point back then, it's funny enough, C.B. Cebulski, who's now the EIC of Marvel, back then he had a small little publishing company called Fanboy Inc., and I actually had a book that was going to come out through him, and then he folded Fanboy Inc., and that didn't happen. I then had another book that was supposed to come out through a British publisher called AP Comics that then became Marcosia. That fell apart when the artist disappeared after doing the first issue. He disappeared for a month. So that book didn't happen. So then on and off, trying to get into comic books while also, trying to get into film. And then around 2015, I started getting with Flying Forge Comics, did some work for them on a couple of properties that got shelved once they started doing their superhero line, Catalyst Prime. Then from there, I did Puerto Rico Strong, the anthology to benefit Puerto Rico after the hurricanes in 2017. I brought that to them, put the initial team together. It was like a 192 or 208 page book.
Oh, wow.
And that went on to win me and my fellow editors an Eisner Award.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. We won the 2019 Eisner? Yeah, the 2019 Eisner for it. And that book went on, the first printing sold 10,000 copies. And then it went on to be a continuous seller after that and raise money for Puerto Rico and do all this stuff for, the kids of the island and stuff like that. After that with Cheeto Comics, which is a small press publisher, with Cheeto Comics and their licensor Mass Republic, we co-created the Luchaverse, which was basically working with famous wrestlers like Rey Mysterio, Conan, Super Astro and Solar. So famous luchadors and wrestlers, and we did 5 one-shots. And it was basically like a sci-fi fantasy, type of superhero-ish genre universe. We had Tenebris Jr., who's this big wrestler in Mexico, and he was kind of like our Hellboy type character. So we did the 5 one-shots. It got collected into a softcover, hardcover trade. Those did very well. They sold in some comic book shops. They weren't in Diamond, but they also sold at, sporting events, the wrestling, conventions and all that.
I haven't seen a lot of wrestling books hitting the scene, but that's cool. You were working with Rey Mysterio Jr.?
We worked with Rey Mysterio, with Conan, all through the licensor.
What's he up? What's still going on? Because I saw Rey Mysterio kind of like, I was like huge WCW fan, like massive. and especially like when like Conan part of the NWO and everything, and all that stuff. Is he still wrestling? I
think Conan has a podcast that's really popular, or I believe he talks about wrestling. I think that's what it was from the last time that I remember him telling me when we were doing his book. We did a very like G.I. Joe type book with him.
Yeah.
And then Rey Mysterio, I think he still wrestles. Back then, I believe when we were doing the book, I think he was with WWE. I mean, he went back to WWE.
Yeah, he's been around. I mean, that dude was just like, I mean, what couldn't he do?
Yeah, the books were a lot of fun. We had quotes from like Mark Waid, Devin Grayson. We had, Brian Edward Hill.
Yep.
We had Mark Russell. We had an introduction by Joe Keaton,
awesome.
who's done a bunch of stuff for Image Comics. So that did very well for them. And then after that, I've just been trying to, set up, graphic novels or whatever, trying to get into the kids, young adult space and all that. And then with Blanco, I was like, well, this is the type of comic book that comic book industry would have done in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but that they won't do today. So I was like, instead of trying to see if a publisher would put out this book,
yeah,
when I came up with it and started working with David on it, the artist, I said, screw it, let's just crowdfund it. And we initially crowdfunded in January on Indiegogo, but then all the stuff happened with the Capitol and all all that stuff in the inauguration. And then everyone was talking about that on social media. So it kind of like buried the campaign. And I was like, I don't want to fight against, all that stuff going on, the political turmoil going on. So we basically decided to shelve the campaign. We also decided to bring the goal down, drastically. We cut it, down to a third of it. Because basically, David was like, let's just get the book out there. Let's just get the book out there. Let's just get it made. That's all that matters right now.
Yeah,
so then we relaunched on Kickstarter for 35-day campaign, and I think that was like 16 days ago. And I think we're at like 71% of goal now. So here we are hoping that, we hit goal, and then that we can, get this book out there.
Yeah, you guys are like right there. You're almost there. So, I mean, you have 91 backers right now. You have 19 days to go on the campaign. Your goal is 3,900. I mean, it's a very accessible goal in the realm of crowdfunding, that's for sure. Real quick, you were at an Indiegogo. Why'd you go from Indiegogo to Kickstarter?
Because we decided to, because I love Indiegogo better than Kickstarter, but I figured, because of David, like he did previously a book through Kickstarter a while back, and because some of the people were going to help me promote this, and they have more of a Kickstarter fan base. And for this, Greg, who did the who edited the video for me, he has a Kickstarter fan base. So I was just like, let's go to Kickstarter first, and then once we meet goal, roll it into the Indiegogo in demand. And then if we make the first book, when we do volume 2, then we'll just launch on both. Because I like Indiegogo better, but I'll take anybody's money. From any venue. And this time I was thinking of launching at both at the same time and splitting the goal. But then I was like, I don't want to screw myself over. So I'm just like, let me go Kickstarter, try to get it through there. I do have a plan that if we hit our goal with like a week or 2 left, then I'll start up an Indiegogo campaign for the remainder of the Kickstarter, timeline. So like we have 14 days left. That I'll open up an Indiegogo campaign and let it run for that 14 days, and then let that Indiegogo campaign go into in demand. So I have 2 different strategies I'm thinking of, depending on how these things go. But it will be on Indiegogo for anybody who listens to this, who loves Indiegogo. Because I know Indiegogo and Kickstarter is like Marvel and DC. Everyone's got their favorite.
Yeah, brand loyalties, right? Yeah. But I mean, the pages look amazing. We'll scroll through, but before we do that, we'll play your campaign video.
Cool.
In a post-apocalyptic future where man has long since been gone and medieval kingdoms control their people with an iron fist, religious rule is the order of the day. And Blanco is one of the most beloved warriors in the kingdom of Seraph Azrael. He and his brother hunt the heretics who defy their father's law, zealots of a new apocryphal belief that is spreading across the 5 kingdoms and Midland Lands. when Blanco discovers a band of heretics is heading through the outer zone to a safe haven they call New Eden. He decides to make an example of them. But what he finds in the outer zone will literally change his perception of the world he lives in.
Hi, my name is Marco Lopez, one of the Eisner Award-winning editors behind Puerto Rico Strong. That's this book right here, came out in 2018, and now what I'm doing is I'm working with David Brame, artist extraordinaire, DC Hopkins on letters, and Derek Ruiz, another Eisner Award winner, as editor. And what we want to bring you is a 64-page black and white 6x9 post-apocalyptic sword and sorcery anthropomorphic comic book. Outlaw Comics, Brian Jack's Redwall, Secret of Nim, Red Sonja, Conan, pulp storytelling. That's what this book is. It's pure, unadulterated comic books. What we're hoping to do is that this kicks off a series of volumes where it's done in one stories, but we have elements that get picked up later on, and it's just comic books like you remember them. Just kick-ass, crazy, and unexpected.
We wanted to create something beautiful that has sword, sorcery, magic, violence, action, everything you'd want, in a black and white, full-sized Italian sort of European comic style that we want to build. So that's what we're trying to do with Blanco.
I hope you like what you see and you're willing to take a chance on us. Please be sure to check out our tiers, rewards, and spread the word if possible through social media. Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Very cool, man.
Thank you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I mean, and I'm just going to scroll through. I mean, look at that cover. I mean, that's incredible. I love this artwork. The interiors. Now, this is going to stay a black and white.
Yeah, it's going to stay in black and white because our one stretch goal that we have right now is for an 8-page backup story when Blanco is younger, called Damnation Alley. It's a very grindhousey type story.
Yep.
So, if we meet that goal, whether it's through the Kickstarter, whether it's through the Indiegogo, if we meet that goal, then maybe I'll look into the possibility of us going for, making the book, a color comic. But for right now, it's going to stay black and white.
Why don't you think a larger publisher would print this today or take this on today? Well,
I just think because one, and it isn't showing these pages because I want it to be a surprise when you open the book because these pages right here are not the first 5 pages of the book. So when you see the opening of the book, which is a battle, it's going to be gory and brutal and, probably more gory and brutal than you see in comic books nowadays. So that's one thing. I think also the idea of talking animal people is something that you don't see a lot in comic books unless it's you used to get that in Commandy, DC Comics and stuff like that. Kurt Busiek did a book a while back through Image Comics that was short-lived. That was like that in that tone and style, but it's very comic book. There's certain things when you look at a comic book that you say is very comic booky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I feel this is. It's very comic booky. It's not trying to be a movie pitch, or you can't say Hollywood can do anything. So somebody could make this into an animated film or a cartoon series or anime or whatever, but that's not the point of this. You don't look at it and think oh, that's someone's Hollywood pitch or TV pitch or anything like that. It's just comic books like you remember them when you were a kid. And they don't do, not to say that, there aren't publishers that do that. It's just, a lot of it is stuff nowadays is very more talky head stuff,
Yeah, definitely. No, this looks great, man. I mean, tell us a little bit more about the book. What for the readers out there that are looking at this oh my God, this is gorgeous. This looks great. I mean, I know you have, written descriptions, you got the video, but tell us from the heart. Tell us from the heart what this is.
It comes from my love of Secret of Nim and the Brian Jack's Redwall novels when I was a kid. Conan and Red Sonja. It's post-apocalyptic sword and sorcery, and basically takes place at this time when man no longer exists, and in man's place, there's these animal people basically, and they're across 5 medieval kingdoms. So there's 5 medieval kingdoms. There's an area called the Outer Lands, which is the remnants of, man's society, the old cities, that are radioactive and stuff like that. And then there's the Midland Lands. And the Midland Lands are basically these small, villages, that have no ties to the 5 kingdoms, the 5 medieval kingdoms. and the 5 middle of the kingdoms are run, by these lords. They're called seraphs, which is very like, religious iconography. And, they use religion to keep everybody in control. And so in this new world, these anthropomorphic, characters, they have their own, almost like Christian-like religion where they believe in, a godlike figure called Adonai and stuff like that. And Blanco is this, he's this very like, pious religious type figure. And, he's, the favorite of his father, the Seraph Azrael. And basically they're trying to quell this, this new religion that's coming about, it's apocryphal, and they're trying to quell that. But what happens is, if they try to, destroy this new religion from rising, he finds out something about his past and something about the truth and the world he lives in the seraphs that basically changes everything forever from that point on.
That's cool. That's really cool. And I freaking love the interiors on this book.
Yeah, he gave it this very like ink wash, kind of like it's, like it's not done, like it's like if it's done on like canvas or something,
Yeah. I just love the ink. I mean, he's like they're subtly at heavy lines, dark, like you said, like an ink wash. Man, it's awesome. But what's great is like the different textures and how he does it, because like the trees in the background, like if someone who's like, look at it, oh, he didn't finish it, but no, that's the ambience of, like that's that you've got that blurred background, right, because you're focusing. So very simple techniques to give such an effect.
So
just
that page,
absolutely incredible.
That page right there is basically is part of a story that's being told about, like, quote unquote, how the world came to be. And then the next page is, the storyteller around the campfire telling the story to kids.
Yeah.
And then Blanco is in the trees and he's watching them. And basically, the people on the campfire are basically the people that are part of that new religion. And, and you'll see it in these 5 pages, but after these 5 pages, you basically, the massacre begins, where basically he's just there to take care of these people. So he's a very brutal character that, like, he's not the good guy at first. He's the character that you're like, man, I hate this, asshole. But then he becomes the Conan, the type of, like, he's not good, he's not bad, he's getting the job done because nobody else is gonna do it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's incredible. This is awesome. I thank you so much for coming on, Marco. This is the interiors are gorgeous on this. The whole concept of the book. I mean, this is really cool. And I mean, again, everyone out there that's watching this, help spread the word of this campaign. I mean, yeah, if you're a fan of Conan, Red Sonja, just great fantasy, apocalyptic worlds, adventure. I mean, you got to back this book. And I mean, you're so close to getting funded, and you got 19 days to do it. So let's get this book funded. Let's make it happen for Marco and his team. Again, if the wallet's, just dripping a couple pennies this month, then hey, just share it on all your social media. I mean, man, this is awesome. I love this. This is right up my alley. I like Blanco, man. This is cool. So this is now really quick, but before we head on to our next guest, I see this is volume 1. So how many volumes are in this series?
Off the top of my head, I'm viewing it as an 8-volume series, each volume 64 pages.
Nice.
And I already know where it goes from. I already know pretty much the second volume, the third volume, which is another big revelation happens in the third volume. And then I know where it goes roughly up to like 6, 7, and kind of where it ends in 8. And then I have ideas for, a spin-off of 2 spin-off series. So if this becomes something that grows and just, gets the right fan base, then, we'll see where it goes. But so far, 8 volumes for this one.
Fantastic. All right, Marco, thank you so much for coming on the show. Blanco Volume 1, everyone. The truth shall set you free. Check out this campaign. Head on over to Kickstarter. Again, all these campaigns will be in the description of the show. So if you're watching this and something really catches your eye, scroll down right below here. You'll see down at the bottom of the screen that you can access, all the links to the Indiegogo or Kickstarter campaigns. And while you're there, if you haven't done already, make sure to click that subscribe button and smash that bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content like this episode of 5 and Dine. And Marco, again, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, if you ever get anything else, any other campaigns or any other books that you're doing that you want to promote, please shoot us an email. We'll be happy to have you on one of our shows and help spread the word of whatever you're doing.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Marco. Have a great night.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Marco.
Awesome. Man, I love that. I think it's just like what I like grew up with. I like superhero animals, comic animals. Probably started with the whole Ninja Turtles thing. Frank Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Plus the black and white. I mean,
Ah.
if you do good black and white, you're
Mhm.
going to go far.
And if you're doing black and white, I mean, those lines, you keep those deep lines, some gradual lines, some other techniques like he did. I mean, just quick, washes and stuff just looks phenomenal. All right, we'll bring on our next guest. Everyone, please welcome Scott Payne to the show. Scott, how you doing?
Guys? Pretty good. How y'all?
Doing good,
Can't
man.
work
Doing
with-
good.
See me better.
That's way better.
Beautiful
Way
face.
better. There you go. Loving it. Loving it. Scott, thank you for coming on the show. It's the first time
Thanks
we've had
for
you
having
on Five and Dime or any of our crowdfunding shows. And you have an awesome campaign that's live right now on Indiegogo. But before we get into Chaotic Flux, issue 3, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like how did you get into comic creating, all this stuff? Give us a bit of your origin story.
Right. Well, I mean, I've been a big comic book fan since I was a kid, and I was real big into X-Men for several years. That's what really got me into comics, I'd have to say, as well as Batman. But when I was about 18 years old, I had an idea for a comic book story that greatly influenced by X-Men and other books that I read over the years, but particularly a big influence from X-Men. So I wanted to create a team-styled comic in the vein of the X-Men style. But I started thinking of characters, and as it grew and grew, I started incorporating other things that I love into the story and adapting the characters through the things that influenced me and I've loved over the years from various video games, movies, TV shows, as well as particular comic books. And so it slowly started to come together, and I started actually blowing my own mind by what I was coming up with, because I was like, wow, this is becoming really something. And at first I had ideas for basic characters, and I was like, okay, that's good, but could I do better, and then it slowly all started coming together. And to be honest with you, I procrastinated for several years playing too many video games and all these things. But then one day, also I had certain elements of the story and the characters that weren't fitting just right. And then later in my days, like the last few years or so, I started thinking about it more, and the ideas really didn't coming together, and the pieces were fitting right. And then one day it dawned on me, I've got it. I can do this now. It's all going to work, because I'm mixing all these different genres and different types of characters. So it was difficult getting it all, coming up with the ideas to where it would all fit correctly. And I feel like I've done that. And so then I sat down and I said, well, first let's see if I can even write a comic book script and, make it pretty good. So I started doing research on how to write comic book scripts and then, practicing that. And then I started writing down, of course, the first script, and I completed it, and I was pretty satisfied with it. A lot of other people read it as well. They really liked it. So I said, okay, I'm doing this. So got me a couple artists, colorists, and a illustrator. I had a different letter at the time, but now it's my wife. And I put together the first issue, and here we are.
Oh, nice, man. That's cool. So let's check out your campaign, because I have to say, man, it's such a dynamic looking book. And again, my first introduction to you is with this issue 3 here. I haven't seen your other the other 2 issues, but again, I have to say, from what I've seen with this one, I mean, wow, it's so dynamic. So let's start off. I'm going to play your campaign video.
Okay.
The epic meta sci-fi saga Chaotic Flux continues. Issue number 3, Relentless. Drawn and colored by Brian Milano and Brian Minotti. Written by Scott Payne and lettered by Janelle Brill. Relentless was divided from where we left off. The Thar must give it her all like you've never seen before to become this titan of humanity. But it could prove to be a bigger problem for a young heroine is Lieutenant Black, as he waits for the right moment to capture the dog for his twisted cyborg overlord, Thrax's Pride. Sword, Strike, and Zathar unite for the first time in the gaming super team, the Crimson Flame. Plus, a bloody showdown in Ladderless. All this and more packed in 30 pages of relentless sci-fi action and suspense. Don't miss out on Chaotic Flux number 3, Relentless.
That's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
That's so cool, man.
It was a lot of fun putting that trailer together.
Did you do that yourself? That's cool. That's cool. It reminds me of almost like a 90s like commercial when they're really trying to throw something in your face.
Yeah,
Now,
there's definitely a 90s influence with this book. I'm a big 90s comic book fan, so it's
awesome.
definitely in there for anyone who's a
Awesome.
fan of 90s comics.
Yeah. So now you told us a bit about, how you got into the comics and whatnot, but tell us about Chaotic Flux, because this campaign's for issue 3. Let's just briefly, from issue 1 to where we are to issue 3, give us a brief description of what goes down.
Okay. Well, issue 1 centers on Zathara. Actually, the first 3 books center on her pretty well. I'm just fleshing out her origin story at this point. But the first issue gets into her first run-in with the Dread Fiends, which are these horrific mutant abominations that were made by humanity. They were made as a food source by splicing different life forms together. And they started out as very docile, very easy to control. But then they started to self-mutate and turn against humanity. And they had this insatiable appetite where they have to constantly feed because they are constantly evolving and mutating. So they need a lot of energy to sustain themselves. So like I said, Zathara runs in for the first time in issue 1. And then we get into her as a child as well when she was 6 years old. And she used to be housed in this military facility where she's an alien hybrid. So she's half human, half Sakaran. And this alien race helped save humanity from an alien invasion 19 years in the past. Well, they've since left Earth to go fight their own war on their planet, and they left the children behind because they felt it was better to leave them behind because it's safer than bring them into a war-torn planet. In the military is housing the children in this facility called Lateralus to protect them from outside sources that are seeking to eliminate the children, particularly an organization called the Order of the Purging Hand. And the Order of the Purging Hand infiltrates the facility and starts killing the children and anyone that gets in their way. And we get in that in issue 1 and how she begins to get through that situation. And then issue 2 goes into this big relentless chase sequence where Zathara has to save an innocent family from becoming a Dread Fiend's next meal. As well as it gets a little more into when she's fighting her way through the facility. And then issue 3, the Dread Fiend that she was fighting in issue 2 actually mutates and turns to a bigger, badder, more difficult creature or formation into a kind of epic Dread Fiend, if you will, or super Dread Fiend, as I like to call it. And so it kicks off where she's having to deal with this big climactic battle against the monster. As well as issue 3, she has to deal with Lieutenant Vladik, who is a member of the Order of the Purging Hand. The Order of the Purging Hand in the present time, they actually become cyborgs. Their master, Thraxus Prime, through an accident that happens a little later, we'll see that in issue 4, that he's almost gets killed, but the Order of the Purging Hand decides to turn him into a cyborg to make a new super soldier out of him. But it's through nanotech, and he starts to learn how to really use the nanotech and adapt it for his own use, and he starts to use it to infect others and turn them into cyborgs. So he turns all of his soldiers into cyborgs against their will, believing to make them better soldiers, and he takes over the organization. So in the present time, they're cyborgs, and Lieutenant Vladik is his right-hand man, and he's charged Vladik with capturing Zathara and bringing her to him. So we're having to deal with that in issue 3. As well as we get more into a bigger chunk of her origin story and this big, bloody, brutal battle that she has to go through in her past in the Lateralus facility. So lots of wild, crazy things going on. A lot of elements in the series. There's also Soren, who's an exosuit pilot. He fights this awesome exosuit called the Reaper. It's all kinds of great weaponry, as well as Strife. That's who you're seeing right there, the big green robot. He's this kind of super mech that I've designed, this AI mech, or I should say super transformer that I've kind of designed, where he's able to transform different things, including a ship mode to transport the team around in. He turns into this kind of crab tank mode called bombardment mode with a whole bunch of guns on its back. And he can self-engineer. So as long as he has the material to make whatever he needs, he can do that. He can make all kinds of weaponry. He can even make things for the team. As the story goes on, you'll see that. So he's kind of this ultimate adaptive robot I've designed.
Oh, very cool. That's cool. Now, you do the interiors on this book?
No. I just write and created. Brian Belando is my illustrator, and Brian McNahy is my colorist.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love that. You can definitely see that like 90s influence to the book. And even your panel layouts, everything. All this is awesome.
Yeah.
Man. This looks great.
Thank you.
It's just so cool. Now, all 3 books are 84 pages of intense sci-fi action and suspense.
That's right.
Now, is there
so much fun making this book?
Oh, I bet, right? There's nothing better than bringing your world to life, right? Putting it on the pages. I mean, because you never know where it can go. You never know who's going to pick up that book, right?
That's right. That's right.
Never know. The phone may ring someday, and it could be, world changing for you. So you've got issue 1. I mean, is there a level that they can back to get the previous issues?
Definitely. So there's 2 package deals where you can get all 3 issues, either signed or unsigned. But you can also add on issue 1 or 2, and any of the packages except for the PDF version and then the Brian Belando illustrations, because you can get a piece of commission art from Brian Belando if you like this campaign as well. But you can add on. There's also a T-shirt, hat. I'm sorry, 2 T-shirts, a hat, and a mask that you can get in this campaign, and those you can add on as well to any of the physical tiers. So if you just want to get issue 1 and a T-shirt or a hat, you can totally do that.
Nice.
I mean, I'm sorry, issue 3 by itself, and then get the hat as an add-on or mask or whatever you'd like.
Very cool.
So I gave lots of flexibility in this campaign for everybody.
Nice. Now, I got a question for you. So with some campaigns I've seen, I don't know if you offer this. Do you offer any type of downloadable samples since you already have previous issues out? So if someone's like, oh, well, what's this really about? Do they get like a sample of issue 1 or anything on the website?
I didn't for this campaign. I did for the pre-sign up. You could get, if you pre-signed up, you can get issue 1 for free as a digital download. I'm also giving away a trading card, a special trading card for people who signed up. I'm looking at on the next campaign, just like giving out issue 1, but I'm still trying to decide on that right now. But I mean, if you go to the website too, sharpedgecomics.com, there is a 10-page preview of issue 1. I think I did a 14-page preview issue 2, and then there's 5 pages up on the website right now for issue 3.
Nice. Awesome. So everyone head over, and I'll put a link to that website in the description so you guys can check that out and head over to the website. So yeah, Scott, I mean, this looks cool. Like I said, it's very dynamic. Like I love the dynamic colors of it. It pops, definitely resonates with the eyes. And I mean, if the script's, as good as the art looks, I mean, this is a freaking awesome book.
It's a really fun book. I'm telling everybody right now. I mean, if you're a big fan of X-Men, if you're a big fan of the monsters from Resident Evil, and the Avengers, and Gundam, Transformers, that kind of big epic battles and big surprises, you're definitely going to like Chaotic Flux.
Nice. I love the barcode on the front. It's like a newsstand copy.
Well, I have been selling it in some comic shops, so I put it on there, for those guys. Yeah.
Nice. So you have 18 days left to go. You're at 54%. You have a goal of 4,000. So everyone, if you can, if you're liking what we're seeing here, please back this book and also share it. Share it on your social media, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever you're using. You have your own live streams. Invite these fine creators that we have on tonight onto your streams to help continue pushing their book. Scott, thanks so much for coming on the show. We'll continue to push it through our channels. And for the next campaign or any other things you have going on, please email us, reach out. Our live shows will be kicking off again as of April 13th. So all these, all of our crowdfunding support shows for indie creators will go back to being live. So we'll definitely, it was a pleasure having you on, learning about Chaotic Flux, and good luck to you because I know you'll get funded.
Thank you, Ben. It's been fun.
All right. It's been fun, man. Have a great night.
Bye, Scott.
We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
All right, cool. It's such a bunch of great campaigns tonight. And, they all have, they're all just so unique. That's what I love about doing these shows, man. You just get to see these unique books out there, some stuff you've heard of, right? Some stuff you may have just seen perusing and browsing. And then, you get that email and you get to get more in depth with these creators and what they're doing. And it's just, we always talk about how we get, how all these big creators inspire you. It's different for me, man. It's the guys that are just out there doing their thing that I find inspiring, because a lot of us, work day jobs, still trying to fulfill our dreams and never give up. And it's just cool to talk to creators, you know, that are out there just doing their own thing. And speaking of some awesome creators, we got our last set of guests on tonight. We got a buy one get one, right? Buy one get one. We threw in the coupon.
Yep.
It's gonna be spicy. We're spicing it up. We got an Anthony Figaro on, and we got Mark. Mark, I can't pronounce your last name.
Digesu.
Digesu.
You know that you bought.
Don't
one.
worry, I've
He's
known
the
him
freebie.
for 15
Just
years,
know
and he
that.
can't even pronounce it.
He's
Yeah, I
the
wasn't even gonna
freebie
try.
over there. He's the
Yeah.
freebie.
There you go. I wasn't
How
even
you
gonna
doing
try
tonight,
it.
fellas? That's
We're
good.
doing.
It's good you don't try it because it's hard.
I've learned that.
Weird name.
You know what? I learned that. Especially when we do like the live shows. Just don't even try. Just, hey, what's your last
That's
name?
It's not good. Yeah, it doesn't really reflect his heritage. It should probably be like Hernandez or Martinez or you know, something like that. You know, but he works with what he's got.
Nice. So Anthony, we've had you on a few times. I think it's your third or fourth
Yes,
time
sir.
on the show. Mark is new. We've never had Mark on. So who are you bringing with you tonight, Anthony?
This is just plain Mark, Wolfpack Comics. Normally he wears a sombrero. It's very nice. But I'm bringing him with me tonight. This is my longtime partner in comics. You know, I need to put it out there. You know,
And in life,
he has a lifestyle that he's lived, and that's and I love him, and I love him for it. And I don't, you know, but it's not my lifestyle. So, anyways, we're partners in comics, and so I met him in Chicago in 2004.
what just happened right now, Anthony? What are you talking about here? Lifestyles, loving, and what the heck just happened here?
Hey,
What he's trying to say is, Anthony is my hetero life mate. Okay? That's what he's trying to say.
For now.
I just wanted you to come out and say it.
that's right, Frank. For now, you know
For
what I
now.
mean.
Listen,
For now.
we're trying to be spicy.
Exactly.
Ew.
This sounds like a proposal.
I know, like, are we witnessing true love bridging across the world of the internet?
It's already bridged, bro. You're catching up late to the game over here. We're almost in the divorce stages.
It's a circle.
We met. So we met in 2004 in Chicago at Wizard World, Chicago. He had a project called Justice City Chronicles, and he was looking for an artist, and we hooked up, and we just fucking same sensibilities, grew up in the same. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. You get it, right? If you get it, you get it. It's all that matters. You understand? If you know, you know. That's all that matters, right? And
I get it and I accept it. Continue.
you know, hey, there you go, and that's it. And that's just how you. This is how you live a great life and live in a wonderful world. You know what I mean? And so I accepted him. I accepted how he was, and you know, we were able to create beautiful music together, right?
Nice.
In the form of a comic book.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. And ever since then, like I said, we kind of grew up the same way. Blue collar kids, knuckleheads. We played sports. You know, we like to drink. We like to fight. We like to run the streets and shit. And comics kind of, I think, saved us from going down a path that a lot of our friends have gone down. And ever since, we've been friends. We've been thick as thieves. And, you know, so finally I did God's Hand and brought him in to edit God's Hand. And it just got, you know, it got it back. I was like, hey, let's go. Let's dust off Justice City. This was our first passion project. This was our first deal, man. Let's put this back out. We got the opportunity now to let this thing fly the way we want to let it fly. So let's do that. And so, you know, so here he is. That's, you know, Justice City.
So here we are, letting our freak flag fly.
There you go. So
it's a beautiful church, that one, I want to say. I just want to bring that up.
Now, Mark, your name's on this campaign as your second campaign. Now, what is so what's the involvement in this book? Who does what? I'm
the writer. He's the artist. And we kind of commingle in creating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He brings a lot to the table. This is listed as my second campaign because he won't tell anybody, but I actually created God's Hand and drew it myself. But
This is why we get divorced, because he can't keep fucking secrets. This is my fucking issue.
I guess
that's the problem. He keeps it
He
closed
doesn't
at the
keep his
wrong
mouth
times
shut.
and open. It closed at the wrong times, open at the wrong times. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck? He ain't no use. Like tits on a bowl. Can't do nothing with him over here. Continue, please, Mark. I was having so much fun listening to you take credit for
roasting me. Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I was I guess like a managing editor on God's Hand.
I gave him what happens is when you can I brought him on to God's Hand and gave him the ability to edit the campaign.
Oh,
so
good.
when
Nice.
when you give them that ability, then it puts them as a part of the campaign. So whenever they launch another one, it puts them on it too.
Yeah, and I mean, God's Hand was gorgeous. I mean, that was such a gorgeous book you put out there. It was awesome. I believe, did we put up the unboxing video on that one? Is that one up on Billy's unboxing day?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
We have a whole bunch of them in the hopper. I got a whole bunch scheduled. I forget what's aired. We did. I thought we did yours. I know we recorded. I don't know if it's up yet, but I'll have to go back and check because there's like 12
let me know because a bunch of them came out and I didn't know about them until after the fact. People were like, oh yeah, so and so did you? And I'm like, oh fuck, let me go check it out.
Yeah, but this book looks awesome. So I'm gonna head on over. Let's check out this campaign. And first things first, I'm gonna play the campaign video. We'll check that out because you always got good campaign videos. Don't disappoint.
Marcus.
Yeah, man, the interiors look incredible on that book. Holy shit, that's nuts.
I think you ruined that. I think you ruined this trailer for me, Anthony.
I know I ruined it for myself as well. we were on a stream and there's this commercials down in New Orleans for this place called Dot's Diner, right? And the lady who comes on and promotes it, she's like sounds like she smoked cigarettes for 100 years. And she sounds like this, and she's like, "Hey, it's Dot's Diner. Welcome. Things are always fresh." She says it's not your mama's, but it's always fresh when you come to Dot's Diner. And so we were on a fucking stream. And while they were running the thing, I read the words in Dot's voice. And so now every time that trailer plays, I can just hear Dot going, "It's his time and it's his story." And that's what every time I hear it, I can hear that thing. I'm just like, that's why I look away. I'll turn my microphone off and shit.
Yeah, right off the bat, I mean, you killed it on the art, Anthony. I mean, it looks freaking amazing. So tell us about Justice City Chronicles. Like, what is the Justice City, man? What is this? You're giving me Chronicles here. What's the Chronicle?
The Chronicles of Life. Marcus, you want to start?
It's the Chronicles of Justice that happen in the city.
The City of Justice.
Accurate?
Yeah.
The City of Justice.
My take on everything, man, is seriously, it's you basically get down to the story itself. At the heart of it it's all influenced by all the shit from the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were fans of like Galaxy Rangers, if you were fans of G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, like all this kind of stuff like this, like it had like that's what me and Marcus grew up on. So it was like that's our sensibilities in storytelling. And so this was like, our version of the hero's journey, but we wanted it to be epic in a sense of like Star Wars, where it was this big universe where it was like, okay, you have these core characters, but it spreads out into all of this, this epic story. I mean, everybody wants to tell that story. And so I think this story starts out with you're introduced to Nero, who is the main character, right? And Nero is this like young cadet. He's at this academy, right? The Praetorian Academy. The Praetorians are essentially the peacekeepers. You find out as you read the book, there was this great war that happened, 30, 40 years prior that almost destroyed everything. And the victory of that war, how it was won, the Praetorians won it, and that led into the peace that they have now, and it led into the greatness of the Praetorians. And Nero's father was considered a Grand Praetorian, which was like the top Praetorian, and so there's this whole legacy thing, right? And so there's this whole thing where these Praetorians are essentially trained, brought up, they're enhanced to essentially be the peacekeepers of the entire region. And so Nero, you pick up on him, and he's basically in this academy, and he's going to graduate. He's going to take on this. He wants to be the greatest Praetorian of all time. And you see him get to kind of go through the training ceremony, which they basically pit him against all the other top Praetorian cadets. And so you watch him go through all of that stuff. And then there's this part where he sits down and talks with his father. He wants to take this job. It's just, he wants to go out and he wants to create his legend. He wants to be the Achilles of his time. And so he goes out and he wants to take this job. And his father sits down and tells him, this is a terrible thing. The guy you want to work for had a lot to do with the war that happened 30 years earlier, a lot of deaths, this, that, and the other. I want you instead to be a centurion, which a centurion is essentially like the modern day Secret Service type thing. And so Nero's like, this is not what he wants to do. He doesn't want to babysit diplomats. He's like, I want to be in the field like my older brother. I want to be out there, mixing it up. And so he takes the job. He goes along with his daddy and shit. And basically, he's on a routine, like just a peacekeeping, just a goodwill diplomatic mission. And in the middle of it, the transport where everybody gets shot down, gets attacked. And so the story essentially is about how this is the catalyst for an event that threatens to tear everything apart and put essentially all the sins of the past, all the blood of the past, all the things from the past here and now, and tear the piece apart and create another entire war. And Nero's in a position to where can he rise to the occasion, and can he stop this? And I think what's important is for everything that's going on, and there are some sensibilities, but for everything that's going on, it's like, what is it? What is a hero, right? What is a hero? It's easy to be Captain America when everybody loves you and everybody wants to see you do good and cheers you on and stuff like this. But what does it mean to be a hero when, to do the next right thing is not the popular thing? To do the next right thing means that you are going to risk, having people maybe hate you because you are going to wake them up out of the illusions of their life. You know what I'm saying? And what do you do then when it's, what do you do when you're faced with a decision that it's easier to be a coward than it is to be a hero? And you try to get the audience to somewhat empathize with that. I've said this before. Everybody's been cowards before. We've all been cowards. We've all had moments of cowardice, right? But to give a person the opportunity to see that and let it unfold and then empathize with it, and then take them down that journey of, this is what it is to be a hero, And so that's what this vehicle, and that's what this world, and that's what all this stuff is. And it's really cool because to me, God's Hand was like a PG-13 book. Yeah, this is an all ages book. I mean, it really is. And we were talking about this the other night on the stream too. Me and Marcus were saying, to push yourself to the point to how can I create a story that's all ages, right? But that isn't so watered down that it's like, this is kiddie stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It isn't so pushed over the top that you can't hand it to an 8-year-old. And we're trying to create something that when I was 8, 9 years old, and I could pick up a book, any book, any comic book, West Coast Avengers, Captain America, whatever the case may be. and be entertained, and it'd be right there, and still go back at 15, 16 years old, read it and still be entertained by it, and still to this day read them and be entertained by it. How do you do that? How can you push your creative skills to the point to where you can make an all ages book, but make it so visually, stunning, make it, reading to where you're it's compelling enough to catch everybody. And I think that's what we're trying to do with Justice City Chronicles.
Well, that I mean, right there is just like something we need too, because the younger readers, right? We need to gravitate and bring in younger readers. So you got to have, attractive books like this that right off the bat. I mean, again, when you see campaigns like this, you get the brief description, you get the video, and you get a sample art and stuff. You don't understand, like right off the bat. When I first saw this, I wouldn't have thought this was an all age book. So like you're saying all ages. I mean, that is like. I think it's eye-catching as an adult. Imagine like a kid who's like, "Whoa, look at that guy!" With this, look at this right here. I mean, this cover. I mean, this right here is just this. When this cover's on the shelf, right? That's what's going to gravitate people. They're going to see this right here because it's literally glowing, and that's what actually we need. So I thank you guys for creating an all ages book that doesn't necessarily look like it. It may have parents like, oh, well, what is it? But still, the fact of the matter is we need to bring in the younger readers because we really are. The whole market is catered to us guys here. This is what the market is catered to. The guys that were collecting in the 90s, it's like they stopped with us and just kind of kept moving with us, that they kind of forgot about, the other generations coming.
I had that conversation. This was the heart of the conversation we were having. And that's what me and Marcus have said this and felt this way as well. It's like, I'm guilty of that now. Like I'm guilty of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm making books and I'm creating IPs. I am not thinking about the younger reader, bro. I'm really not. It isn't until I'm looking at the industry and going, well, this is part of the issue. Part of the issue is you're not making books for kids. You're not making compelling books that kids can get into as well as grownups. And I'm like, well, are you doing that? Are you know what I mean? It's like, well, because if you're not, you're a hypocrite. And so it was like, yeah, man, let me reevaluate this stuff and let me try to redo this in a way that, let's strive for that. Let's strive to create something that again can be brought. Like if we want to bring this to Children's Hospital, we can bring this to Children's Hospital. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And kids can read this and be like, wow, look at this robot, look at this here, look at this guy. You know what I mean? And bring that to it. That's ultimately I think that's, I don't know. It's got me really thinking about how I'm creating and how I'm writing stuff.
Well, that's good. That's a good thought process to have. Because I mean, you should be, it's great when creators can, write for all different age groups, really. Like, they're putting out a children's book. Next, they're putting out a very adult oriented book. It's also healthy for your mind. Because if you're always just putting out kid stuff, sometimes you got to break away and, kind of enter another realm, if you will. But it's cool that you're focusing on that. Because that is, I mean, guilty, most creators are guilty of it. Is like they forget the kids, and I'll be, I don't, it honestly wasn't thinking of the kids until you brought that up, and then that whole conversation I had a few times, I remember the kids, so that's cool though. But
it's all about the children now.
It's all about the children. Children of the future. But I mean,
sexual chocolate, baby.
Yeah. But no, I mean, the book looks great. Seriously. Again, I mean, God's Hand looked amazing. I know Billy was telling me it was awesome. This looks amazing as well. I mean, yeah, definitely. Besides just actually getting to read the script or anything, I mean, just right off of everything you've shared, I mean, everything looks top-notch. Colors, art, your lettering, everything looks amazing. Again, dynamic, just like the previous book we had, just very eye-catching, in your face. I love the character design. Really, guys out there, if you're watching this, ladies and gentlemen, check this out seriously, and go check out God's Hand. Look at the past campaign they did. See the type of work that's been produced, that's coming out, and really give this a good look over. I mean, definitely take the time to check this out. If you like what you're seeing and you love, 90s comics and more of what they were into, what they were describing, which most of us are all pretty much in the same demographic of age, all grew up with the same things. I mean, this is going to be right up your alley. So I recommend you guys back this book and share this book, right? Again, share it on all your social media. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're using. If you have your own stream, please invite them on to talk about it. If you've never had these fine gentlemen on, you got Anthony, and you just got plain old Mark. Just plain old Mark doing this.
You had them all, Nile, until you said fine gentlemen. I think then they were like, this guy's lying, bro. There's no way those guys are gentlemen, bro. I can look at that one.
They're fine gentlemen.
See that Mexican? I don't trust that son of a bitch as far as I can. There's no way. I just want to throw this out there too. If you go check out God's Hand and it's something you might like, you can get it on this campaign. In the featured tier, what we did was, because there was a few people who missed out on it. But in the featured tier, you can get you a copy of the new book, which is Justice City Chronicles, but you can also get a copy of God's Hand as well. So if it's something you want, you can get that. And as a matter of fact, on any of the tiers, if you want, if you want the T-shirt, if you want a $50 tier, whatever it is, the God's Hand's an add-on for any one of the perks. So you can get it with any perk that you want to get.
Fantastic. Well, hey, gentlemen. Actually, Mark, do you have anything else you want to say about this campaign?
I think he said just about everything. I knew we were on a timeline. He kept going. I was like, all right, you know what? You make this one easy for me. He summed it up perfectly.
All right, awesome. And guys, thanks for coming on. It really is awesome stuff. And Anthony, Mark, whenever you guys want to come on to any of our streams, if you got any, you want to continue pushing this later down the road or whatever you have, just shoot us an email. We'll be happy to get you guys on. It looks amazing.
Awesome, man. Always a pleasure. Now, good to meet you, Frank.
Good to meet you.
Yes. All right, gentlemen. Have yourselves a great night. It was awesome chatting with you both.
Always, brother.
Yes. There we go, Frank. Another fine episode. And I say that loosely fine, Or am I just talking about our looks? Who knows, Frank? Amazing. But again, another great episode of Five and Dime. Thank you again. Always bringing in some awesome indie creators on the show. And I guess, man, we'll see them all next week. We'll have an episode of Crowdfunding Comics. All right, everyone. We'll see you all in the next one. And again, click that subscribe button. Smash that bell. This way you get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you all in the next Five and Dime.
Good night.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you soon.